are celebrating International Museums Day at the Lagos State University Center for Museum and African Heritage. This year's theme, Museum for Education and Research, highlights the pivotal role museum plays in learning and knowledge advancement. Sit back and relax as we bring you the coverage of this event. I am Lydia Ajayi, reporting for Eco Blog.
In honor of International Museum Day 2024, the Lagos State University Center for Museum and African Heritage hosted a vibrant celebration centered around the theme, Museum for Education and Research. The event, held on May 18, 2024, welcomed distinguished guests, including the chairman of Ekpe Local Government, Honorable Princess Sura Animashaun, the acting director of the Directorate of Skills Development and Entrepreneurship at Lagos State University, Associate Professor Habib Sani, and other dignitaries.
4. Okay, 4, 2, none, Abi. 2. What? How many people have phones? About 4. I can see 4 phones there. We'll stand in ovation celebrate all of them. Our royal father, we celebrate you today.
Celebration focused on engaging secondary school students through debates and cultural dances, highlighting the educational and cultural significance of museums. These activities provided a dynamic platform for students to showcase their talents and deepen their appreciation for cultural heritage.
Of today, our Princess Sura Olayemi Animashaun, Chairman Ekpe Local Government, Ekpe Lagos State. You are being honored, ma. Thank you. And she did not come alone. She came with her better half, Mr. Babalola, the MD of Mileage 247. Thank you very much, sir. And all members of Vice Chancellor's office that are here, the all head of departments that are here, all students that are here, and ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to address you today as Lagos State University joined the rest of the world to mark this year's International Museum Day. The celebration will be marked with a lot of cultural events and lectures that capture the essence of the celebration. Today is a watershed in the history of the LASU Museum. The International Day for 2024 is Museums, Education, and Research. This highlights the importance of cultural institutions in nurturing a historic educational experience. It also pushes for us to be more inclusive, conscious, and sustainable in education practices. Since 2020, International Museum Day has supported some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In 2024, the focus will be on ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Museum is a place where cultures exchange and has a positive impact on contemporary society, witnessing the rich histories of different nations, races, and cooperation between cultures. The curated stories and artifacts found in the museum expand our awareness, helping us to be more welcoming to people who may have different cultural backgrounds to us. Preserving and understanding the story is vital if we are to progress as a kind of compassionate and understanding society that we all hope for. It is imperative to recognize the important role that museum plays in this, while also reflect on how they can improve what they do. The positive ways International Museum Day will impact the society public are: 1. By drawing attention to issues such as illegal trafficking of cultural artifacts, governments and societies are likely to put an end to this crime. 2. People are more likely to support and fund LASU Museum. 3. It is an opportunity for people to learn something new. Museums often fall into categories like arts, science, history, but some are more specific, such as these interesting examples are specialist museums. We hereby congratulate the LASU Museum, the director and his team, all invited students, all the district officers that are here, the staff, and the public, and our KBC that is here too, and our princess that is here, and all members of staff for a wonderful celebration of International Day.
Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún àwọn ọmọ wa tó wà lórí ìjókòó ni wípé rírò ní ti ènìyàn, ṣíṣe ní ti Olúwa. Ọlọ́run á fún yín ṣe. Ẹ má kẹ̀gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́, kò dá nǹkan kan. Àwa náà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí náà wà nínú ẹ̀ díẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n a go deeper lórí ibi tí ò yẹ ká lọ. Ṣùgbọ́n because a ní ẹni tó ń fà wá ní etí ẹ̀yìn, tẹ́gbẹ́ tá a bá ti ń sáré kiri, tá a bá ń jà kiri nígbà yẹn, a máa ń jẹ́ kó yé wa pé ṣé o rántí ọmọ ẹni tó ń ṣiṣá? Iṣẹ́ kan wá náà mi kí n máa lọ sunkún lọ lé ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀ kò dá nǹkan kan bí òun ṣe ibi tí orí ń bẹ́sẹ̀ rè. Mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé mo mọ̀ kíní kan dájú wípé Ọlọ́run ọlọ́jọ́ ìní á tì yín débi rere. Ẹ wo àwọn tó mú nǹkan ń ta ní ìsìn tó ń ṣèṣekúṣe káàkiri. Láyé àtijọ́ àti rí ọmọ kékeré kó máa ní kinní lórí kò common. Mo ó ti pọ̀ ń ta gan ní ìsìn. Mo fẹ́ bẹ àwọn ọmọ tó wà níbí báyìí àtàwọn tó kù náà. Ẹ má yẹ ká wọ ọwọ́ ọlọ́wọ́ ṣiṣẹ́. Ẹ má yẹ ká kẹ́gbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́ ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Máa rántí ọmọ ẹni tí wọ́n ń ṣe ní ìgbà gbogbo. Tí wọ́n bá rántí, Ọlọ́run á máa sún ẹ kúrò níbi nǹkan aburú. Because drinking of Colorado and all this kind of things don't ṣe kò já nǹkan kan mọ́ nǹkan kan. Nígbà tí ìyá ní kó lọ school tó kọ́ ìkan míì ló lọ ń ṣe. Tó bá wá ṣe tó bá dọ̀lá tán, ṣé ìdùnnú ló fẹ́ kó jẹ́ fún bàbá ni àti ìyá ni àbí báwo? Ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run lọ́jọ́ ìní kò ní ti ẹ̀yin lọ síbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú go Ọlọ́run. Àṣẹ ilẹ̀ máa ṣe ilé ayé yín o. Ẹ̀rẹ́ mọ́ Ọlọ́run ló dá yín, á dẹ̀ gbé yín débi rere. Èèyàn ní Fáṣọlá, èèyàn ní Sanwó-Olú, èèyàn Lámbọ̀dé, kò ń ṣe mímọ̀ ṣe tiwọn náà. Àwọn màdàmú tó wà lórí ìjókòó náà èèyàn ni wọ́n, kò ṣe mímọ̀ ṣe wọn. Because tó máa ní kọ́ máa mú àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n fẹ́ wà ní orí àpòrí táwọn náà jókòó sí, èrò pọ̀ ńlẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run ti kọ́ wípé àwọn ni wọ́n máa wá síbẹ̀. Mo kí gbogbo orí kọ̀ọ̀kan tó wà níbẹ̀, Ọlọ́run ní fi eléyìí ṣe àṣemọ fún wa o.
In her address, the chairman of Ekpe local government emphasized the importance of preserving cultural heritage as a means of fostering social cohesion and identity. She commended the Lagos State University Center for Museum and African Heritage for its commitment to promoting cultural understanding and intellectual inquiry.
And here in Africa, here in Nigeria, everything that we have, everything that has to do with us, everything that has to do with our culture, our heritage, and potentials and all, we neglect them. We abandon them. We are not taking care of them. And this is so sad that we need to improve in what we are doing. And this today's program, I was expecting to see some of our university graduates and all here. We are expecting them here. We don't expect to see the small children alone, because we believe they are part of our future. And being a graduate, they can always start from somewhere. They can always do this thing. They can start it. Even if our elders are not doing it, we can always. So let's think about this thing. And I want you all to know that it's always good to visit a museum. I want to throw it back to the schools. Going for an excursion is not just going to beaches and all. Museum is one of the best education you can give to the children in the school. You should imbibe this in every school. It's always good to visit a museum, and it's always good to go on tour. Today, while listening to the debate and all, you guys are doing very well, and you can still do better. I want to encourage you more. It's always good to understand what you want to talk about. Understand it very well before you talk about it. When you have the understanding, even in a place where you can always pick up somewhere and you will get it right. I'm grateful for the privilege that was given today. And it's going to be part of me that I will forever put in my memory lane so that I won't forget this day. Because I've learned one or two things, and I think we need to improve in everything that we are doing. As the chairman of a local government, Ekpe is one of the communities that has a very great potential. We are very rich in culture, and we have a lot to put in our museum. So if I'm given the opportunity to come back, honestly, the first thing I'm going to do is a museum. Already we acquired the land to get to do our own museum in Ekpe. And I wish I can take all these children down to Ekpe to come to our museum, inshallah, 2026. God spare her life. I welcome you all for today's event. And I believe one or two things you take it home. And you know you are not here to play, you are here to learn about your culture, your potential and heritage. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, good morning. It's already afternoon, good afternoon. Today on the occasion of International Museum Day, I feel greatly honored and appreciate the management of the Lagos State University Center of Museum and African Heritage, LASU, for finding me worthy to be among the speakers at today's program, an event celebrated all over the world to promote the role of museum in cultural exchange and development. As we examine 2024 theme titled Unlocking Knowledge, Museum for Education and Research, it's imperative to acknowledge the importance of museums because they serve as dynamic educational hub and foster curiosity, creativity, critical thinking. This year event affords us the opportunity to acknowledge the contribution of museums to research, providing a platform for exploring and disseminating a new ideas. The Lagos State University Center for Museum and African Heritage deserves great commendation for the provision of adequate space and functional facilities for collection of cultural artifacts, which have been fundamental use for preservation, conservation, exhibition, display, research, and documentation that has evidently helped in enriching our history and as well as the celebration of our collective heritage. This year's theme underscores the importance of role of culture institution in providing all-inclusive educational experience, while also striving to ensure a sustainable and inclusive world, from arts and history to science and technology. Museums are hugely important spaces where education and research converge to shape our understanding of the world. Today, International Museum Day provides an opportunity to enlighten people to rethink education and imagine a future where knowledge sharing upstage barriers, where innovations unite with tradition. I want to implore the audience seated here today to consciously explore the wealth of knowledge museums have to offer and together build a more informed and inclusive world. I want to thank you all because we have so many. I want to, if not for time, I would have, let the children know how much more museums are very, very important. If you, some other places like Abeokuta and others, Osun, Ile-Ife, they have their own mini museum. We only have mini museum in Nigeria. We need a bigger one. We need a big museum in Nigeria to encourage our children to know about our culture, to know about our heritage and potentials, and to know how we are able to get here today. We need it. So we implore the Lagos State, the LASU SEMA to improve more and to go out there for more support so that by the time we come back next year, maybe we have a bigger building for the museum. Thank you very much.
Associate Professor Habib Sonny, a distinguished academic in attendance, underscored the role of museums as dynamic spaces for lifelong learning and scholarly research. He stressed the importance of leveraging technology to make museum collections more accessible to a global audience.
The impact of museums on history and culture of Lagos. And I'm a historian. And you can imagine if you ask a historian to come and talk, We will just be talking like parrot or oniton, but having this gathering of young secondary school students, I have decided to moderate what I have in my speech. And I'm going to reduce it as much as possible. But I will still talk about what is germane about history, about culture, and its importance or impact, the impact of museum on that. We are in Lagos, and this is Lagos State. So, the first thing that I would have wanted to say is that people believe Lagos does not belong to anybody without prejudice to anyone here. If Lagos does not belong to anybody, the Oba that just left, the Oba Elegbeda, Oba Ahmed, Goriola, nobody would have been able to occupy that position. It's occupying a position that is germane, that is traditional, that cannot be taken away from him or his lineage or family. You cannot come from anywhere and hold on to that position. It's not going to be possible. Having said that, I want us to look at about 4 different epochs in Lagos State or Lagos history. And when we talk of epochs, we are talking of periods over time that is more than 500-600 years back, when the first period I call Oko or Eko, when the earliest people settled. We have been very careful talking about the indigenous settler issue because it has always generated serious debate and argument. But whether we like it or not, there are indigenes who we can say are the Awori followed by the Benins. The Benins and the Awori are almost the same. They are almost the same because they also have a link somewhere in Ife. That's the popular history. But at a point, the Beninese culture became more civilized, I think, or more advanced, to the extent that at a point in history, they moved to Lagos and dominated Lagos affair. For people who don't know, Isheri is one of such places where the Beninese found themselves, sending people fighting. And at the end of it, one of their warriors named Asheru died at the marshes of Isheri and was taken home by one man named Ashipa. Okay, from there, the Benin introduced the monarchical system of government into Lagos. And that's the first episode. Oko, Eko, represented one episode. By the time the British came, around 1851, they defeated King Kosoko of Lagos. Kosoko was a very powerful king and a warrior. I don't know if I should start going into details. Kosoko had so many beautiful men that, I don't know, was known as Moronfolu Okunoye, Moronfolu Mafibishe, Odronita Lasa, Odronita Apa, Lasa Le Ogbodo Roko, Apa Le Ogbodo Rodo, Èkó Le Ogbodo ta fínrín lójú omi, Òṣọmọ ọba jagun bí ẹrú, Ògbórí olórí sọ̀kalẹ̀ lóòrùn gangan, Apàmàrò bí ẹni pàgbín, adìẹ yógún adìẹ kogún ọládìyẹ òpọmọre, adìẹ yọgbọ̀n ó pọgbọ̀n ẹni òpọmọre, wọ́n pín inú gbẹ́dìyẹ kà wọ́n fowó owó, wọ́n fi awó ra awó, awóyẹ ìmẹ́fà ó pa kan ṣoṣo. Moronfolu Ajigi ni ọ̀gá ogun. That used to be part of Kosoko's nomen. Kosoko defeated the British in the first time, but he was finally defeated and he moved to Epe. So we can begin to see Kosoko moving to Epe, and people will say Lagos does not belong to anybody. Kosoko moved to Epe. Before he moved, around 1836, some people have moved to Epe. Whenever there was crisis in Lagos, the riverine communities provide the opportunity for people to move into. And so they did that. The coming of the British represented the second episode or the second epoch in Lagos State history. In the fact that the British gradually established what is known as colony in Lagos. The Lagos colony was declared in 1861. And this was followed by the colony district of Badagry in 1863. By 1892, Epe became colony district, and by 1894, Ikorodu became the colony district of the British. So all of these areas, the people of Lagos at that time lost their independence, but they were seen as British citizens. They carry British passports, you know. And so when you are talking about Lagos or Lagos State, you also look at that period when Lagos became a colony district until 1914. That was the third epoch when Lagos became the British, the capital of United Nigeria. The amalgamation of Southern and Northern Nigeria took place on October 1, 1914. And from that period onward, Nigeria was proclaimed a nation. You know, from that period, we entered into the third stage or third epoch of the origin of Lagos. When Lagos moved first from that first period, it was a kingdom. At the second period, it became a colony of the British. And from Lagos, all other parts of Nigeria were colonized from Lagos. Then by 1914, Lagos became the capital of a united Nigeria, and it continued as such until 1991, when Babangida moved the capital to Abuja. However, that third episode also led to the creation of Lagos State in 1967, 27th May 1967. It is that day that people want to now use and say, but there have been people in Lagos, even before some of the closest Yoruba kingdoms in Ogun, Oyo, and some other areas. There have been kingdom of Lagos over time. So, from that perspective, we can see that if we come to a museum, we are supposed to see some of the relics of the past rulers of Lagos, for instance, and we can see, you know, the history too of Lagos from that place. Because museum is supposed to be a repository of culture, of history. You have given us all sorts of museums. People have mentioned historical and cultural museum, which is what we should be having here. Then there are war museums, where you see purely equipment used in warfare. If you go abroad, you will see some of these. There are museums of science, as has been said. And so there are several museums. Then what does the museum have to play in education, for instance, or in history and culture? These are some of the things we are discussing. If we look at the culture of the people of Lagos, there are so many. But the most important of some of this culture are, I know some of you may not know of Kori. Kori. There is Kori. They call it Festival of Children. There is Festival of Children, Kori. Okay? We have Okoshi, Okwaje, Heibi, celebrated in the Ekpe, and of course, all the around parts of Lagos State. They call it Heibi in Ekpe. In Lagos Island, we call it Okwaje. And all other riverine areas, they have name for it. In Ikorodu, they call it Remireke. So, these are some of the cultures of the people of Lagos. Then we have Egungun, we have Gelede, we have Adamu Orisha Play, which is considered the most picturesque of the people of Lagos State. Of course, in some places we have what is called Agbo. Several other cultures of the people are available. And so, when you come to a place like this, we should be able to see some of the relics of these cultural manifestations of the people of Lagos. And the museum is supposed to provide us that opportunity. So, what do we see in a museum? What do we see in a museum? We see some of those things that have been used in the past, you know, in different communities or kingdoms around Lagos. You can see even the clothes or the regalia of past kings, you know, domiciled in a museum. You can see the chairs the furnitures of past kings or past chiefs in any community in a museum. And so museum is supposed to be a place for learning, for culture, for tourism, and for so many other things that are purely educational, historical, and cultural. Sometimes could be for political.
Exhibition, imparting knowledge of historical, cultural, and artistic treasure. A place where we preserve the memories of our forefathers, heroes, and heroines. What could we have left if colonialists has coveted all our precious treasures? Museum, oh museum, our safe haven. Pardon my manners. Good morning, honorable panel of judges of historical, cultural, and artistic importance. Museum plays a vital role in education in the sense that it is used as an instructional material to aid learning. Exhibition of artistic, cultural, and historical importance gives students the opportunity to know about different cultural heritages, our past heroes and heroines. It helps us to know about our origin, where we are coming from. It helps us to know about our past to help us in the future. Furthermore, education is not limited to classroom learning. With museum, students will have the opportunity to explore visual expressions of what they've been taught in the class. Some students do not have the ability to understand what they are being taught in class, except they have the picture of what the educator is teaching, and that is where museum comes in. Lastly, museum provides the opportunity for students to have knowledge of physical history. When students are surrounded with elements of what they've been taught, it enables them to understand the subject matter. Thank you.
The team here, I want to first say this. Rome was not built in a day. So first, I would like to give honor to whom honor is due to. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, chairman, the moderator, curious learners, and the likes. I want to say a quote by Anonymous which says, "Learning is not only exempted in the classroom." What is a museum? A museum is a place where historical or cultural objects or artifacts are being kept to provide learning and access to students or everybody in the future, even in our past, even in our present generation. Museum provides experiential learning in various aspects. Okay, now I want to talk about the roles museum play in education. Museum play a vital role in helping students access provisions to cultural historical facts. It also helps students to come around and experiment on their artisan skills. It encourages cross-cultural understanding. In this aspect, it helps students to learn more about other people's diverse culture. It helps students learn about their other people's diverse culture, helps people learn about their food, helps them learn about their behavior. It improves connectivity and communication. In this way, students in the museum are being united with artists in which they can be able to learn more and improve on their art. Makes them creative, makes them innovative, increase their innovation and increase their creativity. Museum also brings about understanding in most cultural and art preservation. You can see that most students are not able to learn by what they hear, but we are able to remember through pictorial illustration. That is the work of a museum. And conclusively, I would like to say anonymously, it is not possible until when it is done. Like I said, Rome is not built in a day. We all learn. Museums are kept for future generations, even now. Thank you.
jíjọ ọwọ́ rẹ̀ ká lè mọ̀ pé oníjó lọ́wọ́. Oya jíjọ ọwọ́ rẹ̀ ká lè mọ̀ pé oníjó lọ́wọ́. Ọ̀dọ́mọdé kò mórí kìíní kan. Ọ̀dọ́mọdé kò mórí kìíní kan.
Sí mi ariwo, ẹ lọ sí mi àgbàdo, àwọn ní máa mọ̀ kọ́ tó bòye, òun ló tún lé ayé wa ṣe. Bí ẹ bá ń gbọ́ ìwé, bí ẹ bá ń gbọ́ ẹ̀kọ́, bí ẹ bá ń gbọ́ ẹ̀kọ́. Ẹ má yà sọ́ọ̀tù, ẹ má yà sọ́ọ̀tì. Dísíjù yọ̀ ní kẹ́ máa lọ. Bí ẹ bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ọba, ìbá kọ́dá yé o. Ìbá kọ́dá yé, ìbá ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀run. Ìbá kọ́ba tó lànà Elédùmarè tó lónìí ọba tó lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Ọba àkọ́rí kéṣe, ọba mímọ́ tó fi mímọ́ bora bí aṣọ. Ẹ̀kúkú lẹ̀lẹ̀ sí mi gbòógì jìkìjì. Gbajúgbajà ọkùnrin ogun, owó ṣòkòtò gbẹngbẹrẹ bí ìta. Ọba olórúkọ obìnrin ni, abẹ ẹni ni, abẹ àlówó, abẹ àbímọ, àgbà olóhùn rere ṣe láyé.
Olórúkọ ńlá o, wọ́n kì í bí ọlọ́gbọ́n ẹrú o, wọ́n kì í bí ọlọ́gbọ́n ìwọ̀fà, tini yọ̀jẹ̀ mi ńlá o. Ọba nípa ni yọ̀jẹ̀ mi gíga, ọba tó ga, ọ̀yà dàndí láyé, greater than the greatest. Ọba mi olórúkọ ńlá o, wọ́n kì í bí olórúkọ ẹrú o. Èmi ò kì í bí orúkọ ọba, ọba àṣẹ, ọba tí pàṣẹ tá ń tó bí, ọba ọkọ ọ̀rọ̀ ọkọ àṣẹ.
Bẹ́lẹ́yẹ ń ṣẹ̀yẹ àmìlà, bẹ́lẹ́yẹ ń ṣẹ̀yẹ àmìlà, àfi bàjẹ́rẹ́ bá rodò àfi bàjẹ́rẹ́ bá rodò dálẹ̀, a ò pawọ́ ẹja ṣèlú o, a ò pawọ́ ẹja ṣèlú o, apá yóò lè ká wa, apá yóò lè ká wa.
Ọ̀kẹ́, àkàlejò, ọ̀kẹ́, àkóbìnrin, ọ̀kẹ́, àkọkùnrin, ọ̀kẹ́. Àwọn ọmọ Stadium Junior, àwọn lọ́lọ́dẹ o. Àwọn ọmọ Stadium Junior, àwọn lọ́lọ́dẹ o. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìwé ẹnu wa ló wà o. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìwé ẹnu wa ló.
On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibiyemi Bilola Olatunjibelu, MNI, FN, NPOM, and FNLI, I present this award. It's given to Princess Sura Olayemi Animashaun, FHTR, Chairperson, Epe Local Government Area, Epe, Lagos State, in appreciation of your outstanding and contributions to Lagos State University Museum. Thank you very much. Meritorious Award of Excellence as LASU Museum Ambassador. This award is given to Dr. Abiodun Sani in appreciation of your outstanding support and contributions in the Lagos State University Museum. Congratulations. Thank you.
District School. Museum is very, very, very grateful. It is a planned event, and to the glory of God, it is coming up this way. We have educated you, and we have shown you a little bit of what culture is all about. Thank you very much for coming. Next year will be greater than this. God bless you.
As the event drew to a close, guests expressed their appreciation for the enriching experience and reaffirmed their commitment to supporting museums as vital hubs for education and research. Looking ahead, the Lagos State University Center for Museum and African Heritage remains dedicated to its mission of promoting cultural understanding and intellectual inquiry through its diverse array of programs and initiatives. This celebration of International Museum Day 2024 was a testament to the crucial role museum play in our society.
International Museum Day tó ń ṣe lé ní ó jẹ́ nǹkan pàtàkì nínú ìlú tó yẹ pé nǹkan tí a pé a lè máa fi rántí nínú nǹkan ìṣẹ̀ṣe ìlú wa yìí náà ni. So pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn Ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, gbogbo nǹkan tó bá jẹ́ nǹkan tí ó jẹ́ nǹkan gidi tí ó bá yẹ kí àwa yìí ṣe sírú museum bíbá ẹ̀ à á try gbogbo agbára tá a bá ní tọ́lọ̀ ń fún wa láti fi kópa nípa ẹ̀. Bọ̀ inú mi dùn pé èní ò ṣojú ẹ̀mí mi ó dẹ̀ ṣojú ẹnìkankan wa. Ìmọ̀ràn tí mo fẹ́ fún àwọn ọmọ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìsìn ojú wípé kò sẹ́ni tí ò ṣe ọ̀dọ́ rí nípa kí a máa kẹ́gbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́ náà nìyẹn fi ń wùwàkiwà, ṣùgbọ́n tí Ọlọ́run bá ti kó wa yọ níbi ìfi ọkàn tán ẹni kejì níbi tí ò yẹ, Ọlọ́run á máa fi ṣọ́ ẹ̀ṣọ́ wa. Likewise mo yìí sọ́mọ̀ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kan pé irú àwa iná àṣepátá, ṣùgbọ́n pátá ọwọ́ tiwa ńgbà náà lọ́hùn kò tù wá lọ síbi tẹ́ pé a lè máa sọ pé a fẹ́ bẹ́rí kankan àbá fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tí ò dáa. Ní Ọlọ́run náà ṣe ògo fáwa náà ní ọjọ́ ìní tí mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé Ọlọ́run kà mí yọ nínú àwọn tí ó ṣe gudugudu méje ẹ̀yà mẹ́fà lọ́dún náà lọ́hùn. Tàbí tọ́ba náà ń jà kiri, mo wà nínú wọn lágége Awaru Islam College, tọ́ba náà ń jà kiri, ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tó dé ti kan Ọlọ́run pẹ̀tù sí wa nínú pé gbogbo ohun tá à ń ṣe kò sí èrè kankan bẹ̀ náà ni èrè tí àrígbà ní àyà ìní. Àwọn tí yóò dẹ̀ sí bíbá inú àwọn ọmọ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà nísìn, mo mọ̀ pé nípa ìkíní ìkejì tó wà bíbá inú wọn á ta bá kẹta nínú wọn láti fún ní ọ̀rọ̀ tí a sọ tó máa bá pé ẹni bá báyìí má sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ká má ṣe nǹkan báyìí ká má ṣe nǹkan báyìí. Òun ṣe pé Ọlọ́run fẹ́ sọ̀kalẹ̀ láti wá ṣe wá ní oore àbí láti wá fún wa ní ìṣe tí kò ṣe pé àwa ara wa la máa bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ tí a fẹ́ fi gbọ́ nǹkan tí a fẹ́ fi bára wa sọ.
Today's event is very excellent. You know, when you mention museum is a place, a building where objects, scientific, cultural, educational objects are kept. But historical objects are also kept there, and it's good. It's a way of motivating our students, the young ones, to know about their history, and it's a very good and successful day. It's just like if you are learning computer, but you've never seen computer in your life physically, but if you are learning about history, for example, they're talking about the slave trade, Badagry, Ekpe, and all that. You come to the museum, you see objects related to this historical something. It's a way of making it permanent in your home, in your head, which contributes to educational learning.
Yes, I'm happy to be here today, and it's part of this. The museum stuff is part of my kind of something that I love to do, because I'm a tourism personnel, and aside that I am into hospitality. I love tourism, and today giving a speech at the museum World Museum Day is an honor to me, and not just an honor in LASU among the professors, so I'm greatly honored to give a speech. And one thing I want everyone and people that are in Nigerians, all Nigerians, to know that tourism is something that we should take very serious, because it's another way for us to generate more IGLs in Nigeria, in our in different parts of the state. We need to know that all these things that we go abroad to pay for, we have it here, and we are paying for what we have internationally, which is very, very wrong. So we should now try and facelift everything that we have, our museums, our art, and our culture and heritage, everything, our potentials, and most of our monuments. We should facelift them, our monuments especially, rather than we destroying it. So we should try and be creative even more. Everything they want to see is just our historian, stuffs. those that are in the archive, we bring it out to the museum so that all these small children can have the knowledge of what has happened in the past. So that is what this day is all about. Yes, in fact, let me now bust your brain. Now we are building our own museum in Ekpe local government very soon, and if I'm opportune to come back for the second time, I can assure you that the World Museum Day, the World Tourism Day will be more elaborate than what we have been doing in the past. Thank you.
As a historian and a lover of culture, well, we have not done that, but as you have just asked now, the new program that the directorate is bringing up is to showcase every aspect of study in the university in such a way that the students will be able to pick a particular aspect of the study or of the program is undertaking and be able to be proficient in it. And in the field of arts and humanities, museum and monuments constitute one of such things that will be very relevant to our students in that field. And so from the next semester, which is about commencing, this program will commence and students will be seeing professionals in various skills and in various fields of human endeavor coming around to teach them and showcase to them how they have been successful in their chosen field without necessarily going into another thing. So museum studies and the relevance of monuments is an important aspect of art that we will like to showcase in that case. Okay, museum, like we have said, is a repository of relics, of culture, of history, and of everything that has to do with the past, the immediate and the distant past. And so they are relevant in skills acquisition that anyone who is interested in that area can take interest in it and be proficient and bring this forward as a field of human endeavor and as a skill through which he or she can earn a living generally without having to go too far. All that we have to do is to emulate what we have seen in some other climes, where every aspect of their society, you see something relating to museum activities and the relevance of museum in the development of their history and politics, as well as culture.
So the museum is a storehouse for national antiquity. So it is educationally based. It's an educational institution whereby people will come to and learn one or two things or the other. Purposely because of our forefathers and the past events. It's an historical area whereby one will be able to learn more about yesterday and then presently, then to know what is going to happen by tomorrow. The challenges is not far-fetched. The major challenge is fund, because museum is, as I've said, is an educational outfit, educational institution, whereby it needs money. So to buy some of the to buy some of the artifacts, so it is very, very necessary and it requires money. So the government should be able to fund it. So otherwise, the museum will not be able to function because it's an educational resource center.
I came here to learn so many things and I've learned so many things. I learned that museum is an entertainment place and is a place to search for knowledge, wisdom and understanding. And there are so many things here that you can recap it, so it will sink inside your brain for anything. And here is an history place where there are so many things. Like if you have any difficulties in school, you can come here to check on, like those Oni Ife hats, Bini hats, Nook hats, and so many on. This place is a very wonderful place. Thank you.
And it's a wrap on today's event. The International Museums Day 2024 has been an educative event so far. Thank you for joining us on today's event. Join us next time for another exciting, educative, mind-blowing event. I am Lydia Ajayi, reporting for Eco Blog.